Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today, Friday, June 27th, a SWBA draft reaction show. I don't know anything else but to say big night in the league. I mean, we got a huge draft. We got the storyline of the Brooklyn Nets loading up, the fall of Lamarian Sherwood and Jamison Johnson, the second round tumbles for guys like Kayshawn Shipp and Brian Vaughn. And to talk all of that, we got Yells in the building. So good morning, Yells. What a night we had last night.
Tell you what, there was some major moves that happened last night. Number one draft pick, but you got the number one draft pick this morning. Congratulations to you, Marsh.
Lucky us. So I think the big things that there's no, in my opinion, there's no point talking Cooper Flag. There's maybe a little bit of case to be made to talk the San Antonio Spurs, but there's a lot of things that we could talk from last night. I guess maybe I don't know what's your biggest surprise? Let's start with that. What is your biggest surprise from last night's draft?
Trey Turner for me
Yeah,
personally.
okay. There we go.
I love Trey Turner. I think I'm probably well, I was at least I was one of his bigger fans. I got to watch him in high school, watched him in SimWorld Prep, and then what he did in Tennessee. I, I it wasn't really his fault. He showed up in a big way. He's a knockdown shooter. I mean, one of the best we've seen already compared to some of the SWBA greats. But obviously, he's got to show it, and we live in that age of, you know, grandioso comments early. But to see him go number three, he's a good defender. I think he's underrated there, and obviously the SWBA scouts have seen that he can put the ball on the floor, and he is very clutch. But number three, going above the likes of a Cooper Kinsey Cross, a Jalen Snow, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, Jamison Johnson slipping all the way to 11. I could put that up there, but I've always had my issue with his aggressiveness, his lack the willingness to just really assert his dominance when he's 7'1". But so that leads me to Trey Turner over these people at the number three pick. When he's really, for the most part, and again, he's not inept in any of these areas when it comes to defense, ball handling, playmaking, any of that. But he's really one dimensional. It's just shocking to see him go that high, Marsh.
I was not shocked at all. I had plenty of people that told me they thought he was the best player in the class. Um, it
Really,
wasn't. Yep,
in
and
the
it wasn't
class.
in the class, and I think a lot of that was being carried by his. I mean, this is a guy that shot 60% from three in high school.
That
I
is
mean, like,
crazy.
look, I get that he can't create with the ball in his hands as well as you would like. You don't going to Philadelphia. You don't need to, right? You've got Tyrese Maxey, you got Paul George. What do they need out of Trey Turner? Get open on the wing and hit shots, and that's what he's gonna do. Um, so for me, I wasn't surprised that Trey Turner went three. I still think that Jalen Snow was the right call there. I'm not gonna fault anybody for Cooper King Cross not going there, but I think that CKC is, I don't know that that's the right environment for him. And so, from a CKC fan standpoint, I'm actually really happy he doesn't go to Philadelphia. I don't have to deal with him having to share touch. And now he's got to share touches with LaMelo Ball if that ends up being the case. But that's a guy that Cooper King and Cross that I'm glad doesn't end up there. For Trey Turner, to me, I think this makes a lot of sense, and I think people will see it make sense once it's actually happening. But this is a Philadelphia team that's made the indication we want to win right now. And we believe that Trey Turner is a guy that can help us win right now. And if that doesn't come to fruition, then I still think with him and Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, they're still well positioned to win into the future. And if that's what you're sitting at number three and you're saying, hey, we get a chance to take a swing at a guy for the future and we get a swing at a guy that can help us immediately, Trey Turner checks both those boxes. And this two timeline thing that didn't work out for Golden State, I think Philadelphia feels probably a little bit better about their odds of it panning out for them right now.
Well, look, if I can change gears, is that okay?
That's perfectly fine.
We just kind of talk. So there's a couple other picks a little later down the draft that I thought were excellent nabs that they're not going to jump off the page for anyone. Caden Ship going to the Washington Wizards, um, for
I
me
like it.
is big. I like it a lot, and I'll tell you, I always get on my soapbox. Basketball wise, he does a little bit of everything.
Yep.
And one of those kids, you watch him in college and you say, hey, I really wanted to see him take over. And he did at points during Hoops. He absolutely did. But like a la Tim Duncan, coming out of college, everyone saw he was a big skilled guy, but they didn't really understand the impact he had on the game until he was able to be put and be sit front and center on an NBA SWBA squad. And I think Caden Ship, with his character, and that's what I was really going to allude to, for a franchise that has had just, oh my God, and I love John Wall. Don't get me wrong, from John Wall to Bradley Beal to now, just I don't even say his name. You can say his name. You know who I'm talking about. But to bring in Caden Ship, I think that's a big starting point for your franchise to possibly get going another direction, at least in the character department. And then just a little further down. Um, I'm big on the Glory Tape move. I know Oklahoma City's already stacked, right? They already won, the championship. But Glory Tate's gonna be he gets to a chance to grow into what he's gonna be, because he is an absolute baller, and he has got a great frame. He's got great IQ. He can do everything on the court. And he has time to develop behind other guys that are going to get it done. It's just another example of how long the Thunder can be a really great team. That draft pick encapsulates it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, the Wizards, you get rid of Jordan Poole. You've got the adults in the room of
You
Chris
said his
Middleton.
name. Why? Don't say
Oh, I
his
thought
name.
you were talking Bradley Beal, the atrocity in the
No,
desert.
no. You
Um,
said the other one.
you've got adults in the room and Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon, and we'll see if all of them. And I don't know the contract situation for them, but then you've got this youthful overtaking with Alex Sarr, with Bilal Coulibaly, Corey Kispert. Not he's not super young, but he still is a good shooter. And then you can slot in Caden Ship, to your point, who does everything. What is he? The one thing that Caden Ship doesn't do, like, very, very well is low post offense. And he's a 6'4" guard, so I don't care. Like, what he does really, really well is everything. And I said that I thought that Glory Tate should have gone in the top 10, and he didn't. I mean, I thought that was huge. To me, the big surprise. And let's talk Jamison Johnson. I
We're
want to
gonna
talk.
get in trouble if we don't talk Sherwood and James
We'll
Johnson.
talk Sherwood. Don't worry. We'll talk plenty of Sherwood. But let me talk Jamison Johnson. Let's just do a quick. Where, in your opinion, does Jamison Johnson start being the better player from who was actually taken? Ready? Okay, Jamison Johnson or Cooper Flag? You're taking.
I'm taking Coop.
Okay, Dylan Harper,
I'm taking Dylan Harper.
Trey Turner,
I'm taking Trey Turner.
Cooper Kingy Cross,
CKC easy.
Jalen Snow,
It's snowing. Absolutely.
Jaden Shep.
I'm taking Caden Ship.
Okay,
Absolutely.
DJ Wagner.
I know. I get. This is a beautiful point you're making. I am taking DJ
Okay,
Wagner.
Mackenzie Mbako.
I think right
We're
there.
having a conversation. We're
Um,
having a conversation.
we can have a conversation
So
again.
we're four
For
picks.
me, and I'll go ahead and say this. It's a conversation. If we're going by name, and there's so many things, but the kid is 6'10" and can shoot the lights out. From a SWBA standpoint, as a scout and a GM
Yes.
and a coach, I would have to lean his way. But the conversation can be had.
We start having the conversation at 8. Quincy Henderson, I thought, was a bit of a reach for
Yeah.
the Raptors at 9, so I'll see you there. And then the Suns are saying we need somebody who can score the basketball at 10. So for
I
James
would
and
have taken him there. I think that
fair.
was the point he should have been,
But now
and it
they
would have been a
just
quality pickup in the Suns.
they just traded for Mark Williams. But what does Jamison Johnson do really well? He's a great low post offensive player. He's an awesome for his size. Or for his position, I should say, shooter from deep. And look, there's people in the chat that I saw last night. You got Zach Edey. Shut up. Zach Edey is not standing in the way of Jamison Johnson Zach Edey is not doing anything as it relates to Jamison Johnson. Zach Edey was the number 9 pick because the draft class a year ago was terrible. And that's not to say Zach Edey's not good, but Zach Edey has played off the floor in the
I'll say it.
postseason.
He's not good. Hey, if you're 7'1", 7 whatever he is, and you can put your arms up, I mean that's not a great,
So
what a skill.
Jamison Johnson gets to be the number 3 guy behind John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. This is a perfect landing spot, and I don't think
He's
it's
gonna.
a slide.
It's a steal. Look from. I'll take another perspective. It's a steal for the Grizzlies.
It's a steal
What
for
a
the
steal.
Grizzlies.
Oh,
It's both not a slide but also a steal because Jamison Johnson, his range started at 8, right, and his range probably went to 13. And he ends up at 11, and that's kind of in the middle of it. And if you're Memphis, you're saying this is awesome. Nobody in front of us wanted him. But if you also look like Brooklyn Nets, they clearly didn't want a big man. They wanted a bunch of switchable wings, and they didn't think Jamison Johnson could do that. The Raptors are sitting there saying, well, we kind of think he gets in the way. We want a perimeter defender because none of the guys on this roster can actually play perimeter defense. The Phoenix Suns had a choice. They're rolling the dice on Mark Williams. I think Jamison Johnson is better than him. But you draft LeGerald Carroll, who is the second best shooter in this class, and you're saying, yeah, well, this is pretty good. We've got a ball creator in Devin Booker. We've got a 3-and-D wing. Let's figure out the rest of it. Look at this league. We did not see a traditional big man as the top 2 player on any of the top 4 teams in the SWBA a year ago. We're not going to then draft a player that would be that. I think this makes sense on both sides, and Jamison Johnson has to be feeling ecstatic with it. I think people are going to be caught up in he shouldn't have been 11, but when you actually do the exercise, it makes sense.
it was a good exercise. I think you did a good job there. I think you're going to actually prove some people wrong who want to argue, but people are stubborn and they're not going to admit that. I think
they're going to see the number. They're
I
going to see
think
the
it's a
number.
good segue though, because I do believe that in that same conversation, Sherwood could have just as well went number 8 or
Yeah.
9 or 10, because I'm not sure. For me personally, I'm not sure if I'm taking Sherwood or Jameson. It really depends on need in the big man position. Seeing him slide to 18 hurt. I definitely think that that the Nets, we clearly they have a plan there, and I think those are some pieces that are going to move around. I think they could have took. You could have took Sherwood at number 8, but McKenzie doesn't hurt, and I think the Suns lose nothing with Carroll. I mean, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people after some seasons go by in the SWBA, but I think that would have been a good big man pickup for them as well.
Let's go to the Jazz. Let's go to Sherwood because, like I said on the show last night, I to your point, he's not 18. I don't know that he's top 7, but he's somewhere in that 8 to 14. I think him and Jamison Johnson are the same range. But like if you look at the teams there, like the San Antonio Spurs, doesn't make sense for them to take him. Oklahoma City Thunder doesn't make sense to take him because you just got you. I think Glory Tate is better than Lamarian Sherwood.
Let's talk. Can we talk basketball and talk about why it's not? Because I feel like the viewers a lot of times,
They just see the game.
the casual fans, they just see the name. In a college basketball game, the game slows down. You can play a big man and he can impact the game. In the SWBA, the game is moving so fast. You cannot have a guy that is not mobile defensively. He can put up 40 points a game. He's going to give up 60 in the pick and roll easy, and that's Sherwood.
And that's the problem that I think, again, like I feel like some people are starting to see the light that I've seen. The league has already seen the light, but the people that are in the Sherwood camp, I think they're finally starting to see in the light where it's like, look, he is awesome as an offensive piece. What he's not awesome at is playing defense and staying in front of him. And that's why Zach Edey is Zach Edey. Can't play defense. So if you look at these teams that passed on him, Minnesota's already got Lamarian Sherwood. His name's Rudy Gobert, and they're paying him $40 million a year. Portland Trailblazers don't need a big man. They're trying to take swings on the wing, and even if they did, you've got Ayton in that. Now, is Sherwood better than Ayton? I think there's a very real case to be made for that, but Portland is looking around saying, we kind of need pieces. To be honest, that makes sense. If you want Sherwood, we're taking a swing on him. But at the same time, you're saying we want a switchable wing defender, and that's something that Donta Walker can do. The Thunder, we don't need a 23-year-old. We are a team that needs to build guys up and develop them, and we think Sherwood's tapped out at what he can do because he's a great interior defender. He's probably as good as he's ever going to be. The Pelicans, what the heck are the Pelicans going to do with Lamarian Sherwood when you just got DJ Wagner, who you want to clear the floor for, where you have a chance and you add Jermaine McElmore? So, like, going through these names, Sherwood doesn't make sense for any of them. But he also doesn't make sense for the Utah Jazz, is the other problem that I have with this pick. Is because Kessler Walker, there we go. He's better than Lamarian Sherwood. He's a better defender. He's more athletic. So for all the case that I say you don't take Sherwood, the Jazz shouldn't have taken Sherwood.
There's no argument. I think Chicago should have taken a look at him.
That would have been the spot.
Fan. That would have been a good spot for him again. I do think the Nets, with all the wings they brought in, they look a lot like the Nets from a few seasons back when they had Dinwiddie and Bridges. You remember that? Then
yes, let's talk Nets.
Running.
I want to talk because I think they had an awesome draft class. Like, I know that there's going to be a lot to do about you took 5 rookies, but like I listed them yesterday, and I'm going to list them again: Mackenzie Mbako, Ireland early. Johnny Baldwin, and again, if you are not liking Johnny Baldwin draft pick, then you have completely forgotten what you said about the guy when he went to Virginia. Bam Wallace and Jace McGinnis. Those are 5 swings, man. And I think those are 5 guys who are very likely to hit. Not all 5 of them. You are taking 5 swings. I think you're getting 2 to 3 out of that. And if that's what you're getting out of 5 picks in the first round, I think Brooklyn feels great about that. And is there a little redundancy? Sure, but I'm sorry. You don't want a lot of good shooters. You don't want a lot of great athletic downhill players. I didn't know that's the game you wanted to play in 1972.
I mean, I'm right there with you. That's what you do. You want to have options. You want to see what's going to work in the style of play. And if you need to change that style of play, or this is plug and play. You can see which one's going to work. The Mackenzie Mbako, for as much as I said someone else could have went in his spot, he's 6'10" with a knockdown jumper. There's a spot for that guy. And as you said, Johnny Basketball, I mean, he's called Johnny Basketball. Everyone doesn't get that name. He's going to be a highlight machine. He's going to sell some tickets. It's going to be fun out in Brooklyn.
All right, let's talk the guys that slid. And I think chief among them, Kayshawn Shipp. And that's a guy, Shipp is one where Brooklyn, if you're bent out of shape about the Nets with 5 picks not taking Shipp, I'm gonna see you there. You got me in a corner. Because I agree. Kayshawn Shipp, 6'9" forward, 233, can play. Now, the knock on Shipp is his age, 23 years old, but he steps into the game. Good shot creator, good playmaker with the basketball, pretty good shooter, subpar defender. So, like, if you really love the Shipp game, you're looking over the wart of his defense. And I will say this about Kayshawn Shipp that I think a lot of scouts and decision makers saw. Down the stretch for Shipp, a lot of low scoring, low efficiency nights, and I think that's ultimately what sent him to the second round.
From my circles, what I heard is in the combines and the scouting is his mobility, a lot like Sherwood. As skilled as he is, great size, his mobility was something that they were concerned about on the defensive end and on the offensive end, just the speed of the game at the pro level. Very skilled kid. He can always prove us wrong. You know, he reminds me a lot of Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler took some time to round out. Obviously, probably a more elite level defender, but it took some time. So we'll see with Kayshawn Shipp. For me, it's actually 2-pronged. And we saw a lot of bigs go in the second round, right? Because it's a new day in the SWBA. Tyson Simpson, 42. My God, 42. I mean, I understand. The injuries, some of the personality conflict, but 42, that blows me away. And just beyond that, this one's not a shocker, but I just want to make sure to highlight it. Kids, if you don't do what you need to do in SimWorld U and you don't have a great personality about it and don't bring your A game, you can fall. You could be next season's Cody Johnson. What happened to this guy?
Undrafted, right? Does he even get picked?
I think he went 56. I mean, he took that's a lot of hits his
Yeah,
family's
50.
expected
Okay.
income to bring in.
50.
But
What a Memphis Grizzlies pick though. I mean, an attitude dude, a guy with questionable decision making, and you're going like on the one hand I feel great about Memphis's draft, and then you throw this and you're like, okay, another chaotic personality going in there. I'm gonna throw one at you. I thought the Clippers missed at number 30 by going, and we're talking second round now. Missed at 30 with Malik McNeil, but you know what? They got Jay Slaughter at 51, and I am a big Jay Slaughter fan. He's got the knock, 23 years old. I mean, you look at the 23-year-olds, right? And it's Kaishan Ship, who goes 31, Malik McNeil, who goes 30, Braylon Burleson, who was an interesting pick, but he goes 20, and then Lamarian Sherwood at 18, of course, then a couple others in the second round. But Jay Slaughter, I really like Jay Slaughter's game. Very quick, athletic point guard, 6'4", can do a really good job of creating with the ball in his hands. Above average shooter. He's not a great passer, but you know what? I don't really care if he is or not. But just a good athlete that you're getting in the second round. It's a swing, but it's a swing worth having. And I thought Jay Slaughter had a pretty good season last year for LSU. And the Clippers need something. They need some type of spark. I don't know that it's Malik McNeil. It could be Jay Slaughter, though.
he's gonna have to get more efficient. He is absolutely a spark plug. If you need to cement or replug the ghost of Lou Williams, I think that's a good place to start. But he's got to get a lot more efficient. Marsh, there's no way this show can end without you talking John Platts at 41 for your Warriors. Come
I
on, man.
knew I knew you were gonna ask about that. Look, this this is an interesting one because what they really need is somebody to create on ball. Um, and Platts can do that. He can't really do it for other people. So to me, I think the big question mark is like, you need IQ guys. That's the problem. Like that Jonathan Kuminga has right now. He's a freaking baller, but he doesn't know the system. Clearly, Steve Kerr doesn't trust him in the system, and that's not something that I think Platts is well known for the Warriors there at 41. Or known for as he heads to the Warriors at 41. But you know what he can do? He can shoot the dang basketball. And they need shooters, and they need guys that can create shots. And Platts can do that for himself. Now, not a great ball handler, but he can create shots. He can score in the low post. I didn't love the pick, but I said the same thing at when we got to 28, and it's Kirby Ordway. It's like, I mean, the odds that Kirby Ordway pans out to an extent, or somebody else around that range, it's not super high, man. And there's a reason that guys go in that late 20s, second round. Like Kaishan Ship, he's old. Brian Vaughn, there's a lot of personality questions. Kirby Ordway doesn't do a lot of things. I mean, I guess I was a little surprised that Jeremiah Minor fell to that spot there. He was 21, but he's 5'11". So like, or he was
Coming off that
34.
injury as well.
Right. So like, there's just a lot of question marks. When you get into that range, but people see a name, they see a spot, and they get bent out of shape about it. I wasn't too much. Platts, though, I mean, you know, it would have made no sense, but like Tyson Simpson there, you want to talk like completely anti-Warriors basketball, Tyson Simpson would have been one of them, but what am I going to do? I'm not going to read too much into a number 41 pick and hope that it saves the day, although they've done a good job in the last couple of drafts of taking guys late and getting it done.
Well, couple of things I wanted to point out, Marsh. I'll put you on blast for not loving the stories behind the draft picks. We had a talk
Oh,
behind the
God, I hate
scenes.
it.
So,
Okay.
Cooper Flag apparently, I got word that he was really hoping to go to Washington. He was fine falling down the draft to play for the hometown. So that was words coming out of that
Well,
camp.
hold on, Cooper
OG
Flag? You're
Ananobi,
talking Cooper King and Cross.
Kenji Cross. I'm sorry, did I say
Okay,
Cooper
gotcha.
Flag? My
You,
goodness,
you
Cooper
mentioned
Kenji
there's two
Cross.
Coops.
Yes,
There's two Coops.
yeah, don't mess that up. Quincy Henderson was in lots of talks with OG Ananobi. He's taking him under his wing, and you can see the parallels there. I think that's super interesting there. And coming out of New Orleans, a lot of the talk was Jermaine McLemore looking to push Zion Williamson, and I don't know if that means for a starting spot there, but he said that he is absolutely looking forward to going head to head with Zion Williamson. And then lastly, Lamarian Sherwood's his mom and his mom and dad, I had a chance to talk with them, and they said they have no ill will, no feelings about him sliding down. They're just happy with the accomplishments that he's made. This kid Sherwood didn't pick up a basketball until he was 14 years old. Marsh. A lot of people don't know that. So accomplishment for him to even get into the 18th pick. So shout out to Lemarian Sherwood.
Shout out to Lemarian Sherwood and the Utah Jazz, who now have two centers, and they'll have to figure out what to do with it. Yells, appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate you all tuning in here. The SWBA draft is behind us. Free agency on the horizon. We'll talk all that and more as the summer rolls on and the offseason rolls on. We'll figure out a little bit more of what that looks like and what college basketball is going to look like next season as rosters kind of taking shape. But Yells, appreciate you hopping on here. We'll talk to you again on Friday. We'll talk to you all, everyone else, on Monday here on SimWorld TV. The only place you can see the game, be the game.